These are my tools to create awesome PS3 tutorials. Let's do this.
Hey guys, this is Versatile from VST Power Now, host and pride of Phoenix Media. In this video tutorial of a 4-part video series, this is the second video where I'm going to show you how to add new thermal paste, and then we're going to show you how to install the E3 flasher with a clamp, and then we're going to make a dump, verify the dump, patch the dump, and put it back onto the PS3 Slim motherboard. If that is successful, then the third video will show you how to put the PS3 Slim back together, and the last video, the fourth one, will show you how to do the 3.55 OFW software downgrade process. So let's do this. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add the new thermal paste. So in the first video, when I took apart the PS3 Slim, I had some old junky paste here and also over there. So I took some isopropyl alcohol, which looks like this basically. So this is 50%. You can use something higher if you want, but I use that. That was fine. And what I'm going to do today is I have this. I have an Arctic Silver 5. So I'm going to put some new paste right now onto the CPU and GPU. So I'm just going to go ahead, add about a pea-size amount to the center. So that's for that one, and then also this one here as well. Okay. Next part is we need to put this onto here. So the easiest way that I figured out so far is, let's go ahead, let's take this fan, put it in the center here. Now you'll notice that there's actually 4 holes here. 1, 2, 3, 4, excuse me. So when you flip this motherboard over, what you want to do is align it accordingly. So we'll go ahead and do that right now. Just take your time. No need to be in a hurry. And you're good. Now, if you want to double check it, what you could do is you could get down, you can eyeball it. Here I'm looking at it directly. I see that it's right, flat, and nice and tight, and we're good so far. So next thing you want to do, because I'm going to do this old school method, I think this is pretty cool when compared to downgrading the fat PS3, is I'm going to use this clamp solution. So that should really help later on in the video tutorial for this PS3 Slim. But before we get there, we need to install these brackets. But you don't want to short out the metal contacts here. So what we're going to do, what I did earlier, is I have some cardboard cut out. So I have some cardboard here. We're going to mock it up here a little bit. I might have to trim this a little bit further. And then you have this go here basically. Here go here basically. And then you take your screws, your 4 screws here, and then install them one by one. A little bit here, 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 so on and so forth until you get that done. So give me a few minutes. Let me do that right now, and then we'll resume in the next portion of the video tutorial. Okay, so this is what I did. I have the cardboard. I did the screws one by one until it's nice and snug and tight, so we're good to go. You know you did a good job. If you take a look at it, just sort of look at it here, just make sure your heat sinks are nice and tight and flush. And you know you did a good job because your first screws are nice and tight, of course. So no worries there. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to install the E3 flasher clip. Now, this is my first time doing it with a PS3 Slim, so I'll do the best I can the first time around. If I get an error later on, then I'm going to accommodate that and fix it, and life goes on. So let's do this. So where is the E3 flasher clip, and where does it go? So I got the clip. The NOR chip is right here, or the NOR flash chip, or whatever you want to call it, is right here. You notice that there's a big circle right here in one of the corners, so that's where you want to align your E3 flasher clip. So, for example, this top left corner right here needs to match where this circle is right there. So let me try zooming in on this camera here. Okay. And let me try to attempt to install the E3 flasher clip. Now, I did this for a PS3 Fat. Haven't done this before for a PS3 Slim, so we're going to learn as we go. So here's the clip. And we're going to align it on top here. And we're going to press down on both sides until we hear that Nice clicking noise. I love that noise. Hopefully I don't get any errors from this, but we'll see. Now, as a precaution, it's probably not needed, but I'm going to do this anyway so I don't move the clip later on. I'm going to get some tape, Scotch tape here. I'm just going to tape it down a little bit here just to keep it in place. But don't worry, this is not the final of the mod. We will come back to this, continue. So this is just to keep it in place. Now, what we're going to do next is, well, there's a lot of different things you could do. But what I'm going to do is, I'm going to go ahead and get the E3 flasher. Okay, so here it is. So what we're going to do is go like here. Let me move the camera up a little bit. So, it turns out you do not have to connect the E3 flasher to the hard drive SATA port. But what we do need to do is connect this E3 flasher clip to this port right here. So let me go ahead and do that right now. Just take your time, don't rush it. Okay. It's on. Okay, we're almost there. Okay, so we got the E3 flasher. We'll get to the clamp part of it in a little bit. Now, next thing we want to do is let's go ahead and install the PS3 power supply. So here's the power supply. So before we install this, let's go ahead and make sure we install the fan. So right here is a fan connector. So go ahead and install that. Okay, we got that. That's good. So rotate this. Okay. Next thing is let's go ahead and install the PS3 power supply. Before I plug it in, I could do it now. Let's do this right now. So I'm going to get into position. And before I forget, it's probably easier, make sure you connect this white plug first. Let's do that instead. Okay. Now let's go ahead and install this. Okay, we're good there. And then, of course, you have this plug here. So make sure you connect that over here. So do that. Now, the hard part, maybe, is we got to install, make sure we got enough pressure on this. So what I ended up doing was I went to Menards. I got this clamp here. And I put some electrical tape on here just in case. I want to make sure we did not short anything out. And it's nice because you can adjust it. And you got this clamp down here. And this is what we're going to use today to put the pressure on the NOR chip or the flash clip. So let's go ahead and do that right now. I haven't done this before, so this is my first time. So we'll see how this goes. And maybe in the future, once we get this video series done, I'll have some more additional comments for you guys on how this goes. All right, let's go down. Okay. It's a little bit crude, but it's nice and tight. It's snug. It's dead center on the E3 clip. So let me just zoom in a little bit here. Actually, this camera's not cooperating, but at least you can see it. So now what I'm going to do is, in the next portion of the video tutorial, let me go ahead and connect this to my power supply with the cord, and then we'll go into more intricate details with the micro SD and the updates and all that. Let's do this.
Alright, so in this next portion of the video tutorial, I'm going to show you how to set up your micro SD card, as well as go over a preview of some of the programs that we're going to be using later throughout this video tutorial. So in the more info section, I have a link to where you can download the Versatile 4.76 pack. And I'll have some programs in here, and we'll talk about this as we go on. The first thing is, let's do the simple stuff, and that's let's format your micro SD card as FAT32. So I have a 2 GB micro SD card. I'm using an SD to USB adapter on my computer right now. So if I go here, I find my SD card, right click, go to format, say a FAT32 is a file system, volume label, call it whatever you want. I'm calling mine as PS3. Quick format is fine. Click on start and we're good to go. Okay, so what we're going to do next is you go into the downloaded file pack. If you go into step 1, there's something called the E3 Flasher update. And I have 2 updates here. Basically, if you're going to update more than one PS3 console now or in the future, you want to use the Samsung 10.28 update. If you're thinking of only doing one console like forever, then what you could do is after you do the Samsung 10.28 update, which allows you to flash multiple PS3s using one E3 flasher, you can also use this one called the 2012-0105 update, which allows you to make 3 dumps in one go, which is real nice. But when I was doing some experimentation earlier today, it turns out that because I used the E3 flasher on my fat PS3 the first time around, I cannot use this 2012-0105 update on my slim PS3. It says, I get an error. It says unrecognized BIOS or whatever. So I'm basically forced to use the Samsung 1028 update, which is probably fine for you guys as well. So what you want to do is to right click it. Let's go ahead, extract here. It's going to make a folder. Go into that folder. There's going to be a file called update.bin. So you can right click and copy or cut. I'm just going to copy it for now. Go into your PS3 microSD thumb drive, right click and paste it to the root of this thumb drive. Okay. At this point, we're good to go. So all you need to do is basically eject your microSD card and I'll see you back at the PS3. Let's do this. Alright, so this next portion of the video tutorial, I'm going to show you how to do the update to the E3 flasher as well as do a dump. And we're going to do 3 dumps actually. One thing I forgot to do earlier in the video, but I've done it since then, is make sure you connect this eject power sensor bar. So take the ribbon cable, plug it into the port right here on the motherboard, and you're good to go. Turn on your PS3, apply power to the PS3, and then go ahead and attach your micro SD card into the slot here with the cover on. And then in terms of the switches, you want switch 1 down, 2 down, 3 is up, 4 is up, 5 is up, and 6 is up. So now apply power to your PS3, turn it on, and we'll notice that all the LEDs should turn on. That means that the update was successfully taken. If I were to remove the SD card and put it into my computer, I'll see that the update.bin file is gone because the E3 flasher took it, but for time essence, I'm going to skip that portion of the video. Okay, now we're going to make our first dump. Are you guys ready? So what you want to do is make sure switch 1 is down, 2 is down, 3 is up, 4 is down, 5 is down, 6 is down. Push this button here. This is a reset button. Okay, PS3 is on. It's been about 30 seconds already. I don't have it connected to a monitor, but we should be good to go. And now we click on this top red button, which is start. So if everything is successful, let's assume that your E3 flasher clip is on nice and tight. You will not see any blinking LEDs right now. I used to get blinking LEDs when I did my fat PS3 a long time ago. Since then, I learned some tricks on how to make it a better experience for the E3 flasher clip. So I'll talk about that in a later date. But here we see that the E3 flasher is working. I'm waiting for that first LED to turn on. It might take about I don't know, a minute or 2 minutes. So we'll see. So that's the first LED. So what's going to happen is each LED is going to turn on one by one from left to right. And once you get all 8 LEDs, I think it flashes back and forth. And that's how you know that you are done with your dump. So what you want to do basically is once that first dump is done, remove the SD card, go to your computer, make a folder, call the folder like dump 1 or something. And then the contents of your micro SD file will have these, the .bin file basically, the bkbs3.bin file or something to that effect. But we'll see it later in the video tutorial once we get there. So once you get the first dump done, copy it to your computer, cut and paste it. Then go back to the E3 flasher. Perform the second dump, copy it back to your computer,
and then go back to your E3 flasher a third time, make another dump, and then copy it back to your computer. So you're going to do that a total of 3 times. You could do more if you want, but for now, we're going to do 3 dumps. And once you have done 3 dumps, then later in the video segment, I'll show you what programs to use to verify that your dumps are good. So we're waiting for the first dump to be completed. And here we are, flashing back and forth, back and forth. We're good to go. So now all you're going to do, for now, I'm going to turn off my PS3. I'm going to remove this micro SD card. And then let's go back to my computer and show you how the first dump works. And then we'll do the process again for the second and third dump. Let's do this.
Alright, so we're back to my computer. Let's take a look at the first dump here. So let's go to my computer here. We go to here, to my micro SD card. We have a BK PPS3.bin in this E3 flasher log. So that's what the log looks like. So what we're going to do is select both of these, right click, cut it, and then I'm going to go to my desktop. I'm going to make a new folder. I'm going to call it PS3 backup dumps. You gotta love those dumps. So now we're going to make a new folder. I'm just going to call this like dump 1. And then I'm going to right click, paste it. Alright, so now what we're going to do is go ahead, eject your micro SD card, and let's go back to the PS3 a second time. Alright, so we're back at the PS3. Let's get ready for the second dump. Gotta love those dumps. So let's turn on the PS3. What I like to do is I like to wait about maybe 5-10 seconds or so, give it time for the system to boot up. I already inserted my micro SD card to help save some time for the video. And then as a recap, 1 is 2 is down, 3 is up, 4, 5, 6 is down, just like before. And then all you gotta do is just press the start button again. So we're going to do the second dump. So that's going to be like another minute or 2 minutes, whatever that's going to be. And then once that dump is done, I'm going to take it back to the computer and put it onto my computer desktop. So same thing as the first half of the video. Cut and paste the files from the USB thumb drive and put it on your desktop. And then we're going to come back to the PS3 again the third time and do the same process where we do a third dump. So to help save some time, I'm not going to show that third dump because we know how that is going to work. And I'm just going to sit here and follow through with the rest of the second dump so you guys can see again how this works if you're very curious on how the E3 flasher system works with the PS3. So while we're waiting, let's talk about some stories or whatever. And if you guys check out the PS3 playlist, there is some nice videos on how to get up to speed on PS3 modding and stuff like that. There is one video I have that shows you how to, if you have errors with your E3 clip, maybe one thing you want to do is consider shaving down both sides of your E3 clip, flasher clip, to make sure that it is sitting flush on the motherboard. So if you guys have any kind of errors with your E3 flasher, by all means take a look at that video. It's in the PS3 playlist, and I'll have a link to it in the video description as well. So we're almost done with the second dump, and we'll get ready for some good times here. So like I said, we'll take the second dump, I'll take it back to my computer, and then to help save some time, I'm going to come back down here, take a third dump, and put that on my computer too. So the next portion of this video tutorial, we're going to jump straight into my 3 dumps and how to verify the dumps and make sure they're good dumps. So let's do this. Alright, so we're back at the computer. So let's go ahead and check out my dumps here. So we go to my folder, PS3 backup dumps, that's on my desktop. And I made 3 dumps already. So we got a dump 1, we got a dump 2, and then we have a dump 3. But how do we know that these dumps are valid? Because the last thing you want to do is have a bad dump and then you patch it, flash it back to your PS3, and you get a brick or something. We do not want that. So what we're going to do is we go into the Versatile 4.76 pack. There's a folder here called Step 2 Verify and Dump Patching Tools. And I got 3 different programs here. It's better to be safe than sorry. So let's go ahead and take a look at the first program, HXDen. Right click, 7-zip. Let's just say extract here. So it's going to have this folder here. Double click the program. Once the program opens, go to Analysis, File Compare, and Compare. The source file, we're going to select our first dump, and the target file, we're going to select the second dump. Let's do this. Okay, so here we are. Dump 1. Okay, that's the source. Target file, let's go ahead and find my dump 2. Open. And okay. Chosen files are identical. Great. Let's do it one more time, just to make sure that the third dump is good. So I'm going to go back to target file, dump 3, Select that bkpps3.bin. Okay, chosen files are identical. Great. All right, let's go to the next program. Just in case here, NOR inspector. Right click, 7-zip. I'm going to extract it to its own folder here. So here's the NOR inspector. Run that program. Since we know that all 3 dumps are identical, we only have to do this one time with one dump. So that's a good method there. So go ahead, take the bkpps3.bin, left click and drag over here. So we have some information that comes up, okay. But the most important is if you go to status here, and we go down here, it says okay, 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 okay. It's all okays. That's awesome. Okay, so that's good. Now, the last program we want to use is the PS3 Flash Tool, version 4.46. Right-click, 7-zip, extract to this folder. So let's do that. Okay, let's go into that folder here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to right-click, make a copy of this first dump. Right-click it, and copy over here to this folder here. Now we run the PS3 dump checker. Make sure you read this here. So this says, did you skip reading these terms and conditions? I'm going to say no. All right, so now what we're going to do, just as a double check, you can always click on this down arrow here and make sure you have the latest updates for CFG, as well as the latest hash list, as well as the latest PS3 dump checker. And we're good. All right, so what we're going to do now is we take this file, bkpps3.bin, drag it over here, and let us do its thing. It says, okay, that's awesome. No errors. That means that we got a secure E3 flasher clip on a NOR chip. We are guaranteed that, for the most part, that we're going to be okay with the patching back to the PS3. So do you want to patch this image? We're going to say yes. All patches are applied, and it goes back here to your root folder. So we can close this program now. Now what we're going to do is right-click this, go to copy, bkpps3_patch.bin. We're going to go back to our micro SD card, make sure it's empty, right-click, and paste it. Okay, now what we're going to do is just rename this file, take out the patched part. So it's going to say bkpps3.bin, and then that's it. Now what we do is we go back to the E3 flasher on the PS3, and we're going to flash it back to the PS3. Cross your fingers and hope everything is going to be okay. But I'm pretty sure it's going to be okay because we know that our clip is nice and secure and tight. So with that said, let's jump straight into the next portion of this video tutorial. Let's do this. Alright, so we're back with the PS3. I already inserted the micro SD memory card. So let's go ahead and turn on the PS3. So, in this next portion of the video tutorial, what we're going to do is we're actually going to flash that patched dump to the PS3. And this process will take approximately about 8 minutes because it takes about 2 minutes per LED to light up. Once you have all 8 LEDs lit up, then it's going to go back and forth, and that's how you know you have a successful flash to your PS3. But before you flash it, you want to make sure that you have a good, secure connection with your E3 flasher clip. Of course, we know that this is the case from earlier in the video because we have verified the dumps. They're all 100% the same from dump 1 to dump 2 to dump 3. Okay, so let's get ready to do this. How do you do this? Is make sure that all the switches are down. So 1 is down, 2 is down, 3 is down, 4 is down, 5 is down, and 6 is down. So I'm going to go ahead and press reset just for a safe measure. And then here, what we're going to do is press start. So now the E3 flasher is in process of doing its thing. Because this video segment will get rather long because this process takes about 8 minutes, I will just let it record and then I'll just sort of cut to the very end. Alright, so we have successfully downgraded the PS3. It took about 8 minutes, 2 minutes per each LED as lit up one by one from left to right. Once the final and 8th LED lit up, you're going to get alternating flashing lights like this. I do want to make a quick note that during the process I got an error code, and when I restarted my PS3 I ended up bricking it, but I was able to recover it. So I'm going to make a new tutorial to show you guys what to do if you brick your PS3. One quick edit to this video tutorial is I found out that using a coin, so what I ended up doing was I took a quarter, put it on top of the E3 flasher clip, and then used my clamp on top of it. and then secured it down. It turns out that when I had my clamp on during the flashing process, I got an error code and it stopped halfway, and it's because the clip was not on tight enough for all the pins. But when we did the backup process, it was fine. So I think what happened was when I was doing the downgrade process with all the switches down, the NOR chip got hot and something happened and the clip got loose. So I'll have that noted in another video tutorial. It was a good learning experience, but you guys should not be alarmed. As long as you have a valid dump, you can always recover. That's the good thing. So that concludes part 2. Part 3 is we're going to dismantle the entire PS3, put it together, and then part 4 will be doing the final downgrade process with the USB thumb drive. So with that said, see you in the next video. And if you got any nitpicky questions, leave a comment here on the YouTube page. I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Once again, thank you for watching. Take care. Bye.